The story begins by painting the image of a young woman named Maria, who came from a very poor background. Life had been cruel to her. She was born in a small village where opportunities were few and education was a privilege she could not fully access. Despite her hardships, Maria carried with her a sense of resilience and an innate kindness that made her stand out. She had always believed in hard work and honesty, though the struggles of poverty often made her question whether life was truly fair. Her marriage to Daniel, a man she thought was dependable and loving, became her greatest mistake, though she could not see that at the beginning. Daniel appeared gentle, but beneath his surface he was a man consumed by greed and bitterness toward those wealthier than himself. Maria worked as a maid in the grand mansion of Alexander Grant, a billionaire businessman who had inherited his family's empire, but was known more for his sharp instincts and cold demeanor than for warmth. To his employees, Alexander was distant, a man who expected loyalty and silence rather than conversation. He valued efficiency, despised gossip, and rarely showed kindness to those below his rank. For Maria, working in his household was intimidating, but it provided her the income she desperately needed to feed herself and also to keep her unstable marriage afloat. Her husband Daniel despised her job, could not stand the idea of his wife serving another man, especially a wealthy one. Outwardly he acted supportive, but deep inside he was brewing a dark plan. He had fallen into debts from gambling and saw Alexander not as a human being but as a target. He pressured Maria subtly, asking questions about the mansion, about Alexander's habits, about the security. Maria, innocent and loyal, never thought much of it at first, though she sensed that Daniel's curiosity carried a dangerous edge. One evening, while cleaning the study, Maria accidentally overheard a hushed phone conversation Daniel was having outside the house. He had been drinking, and thought she would be too busy with her chores to notice. His words froze her heart. He was conspiring with strangers to stage a robbery inside Alexander's mansion. At first Maria thought she must be imagining things, but the more she listened, the more it became undeniable. The plan was clear. Daniel and his partners wanted to attack Alexander when he was alone, threaten his life, and force him into revealing hidden accounts or secret safes. Maria's entire world spun. She loved her husband despite his flaws, but she could not let him destroy not only his life, but also the life of the man who provided her with work. Maria could not sleep that night. The conflict tore her apart. She told Alexander she risked exposing Daniel and losing her marriage. If she stayed silent, an innocent man might be harmed or killed, and she herself might be complicit. She remembered Alexander's strict warning. To the staff, do your work. Don't talk. Don't meddle. Breaking that rule meant instant dismissal. Yet in her heart, she knew silence would make her guilty. The next day, Alexander noticed her distracted behavior. Though he rarely cared for personal details, something about her pale face made him pause. He asked her bluntly if something was wrong. Maria hesitated, the words trapped in her throat. Alexander's cold eyes made it harder, yet she gathered her courage and whispered only a fragment. Someone close to me is planning something against you. At first Alexander dismissed her words, assuming they were the fearful exaggerations of a poor maid. But Maria insisted, trembling, tears in her eyes. The sincerity of her fear shook him. Rather than dismissing her, Alexander chose to test her honesty. He instructed his security to discreetly investigate her husband without letting Maria know. Within days, the truth unfolded. Daniel's debts, his criminal contacts, and his recent suspicious movements confirmed Maria's warning. For the first time, Alexander saw that behind Maria's timid silence was a rare courage. Instead of exposing her immediately, he devised a counterplan to catch the conspirators in the act. The night came when Daniel and his partners attempted their break-in. Maria, torn apart by fear, was kept in the dark about Alexander's trap. She only knew she had tried her best to warn him. But when she heard strange noises while working late in the mansion, she realized the nightmare was becoming real. She followed the sounds and, against her own safety, witnessed Daniel sneaking through a side entrance with masked men. Her heart broke seeing the man she once loved now as a criminal ready to destroy her livelihood. In that moment, Maria faced the hardest choice of her life: call out and try to stop him, or remain hidden. She whispered only to herself, "Don't talk," remembering Alexander's rule. But this time, silence would mean disaster. With shaking hands, she rushed to alert Alexander directly, breaking every rule of servanthood. To her shock, Alexander was already waiting, calm and calculating. He ordered his security to trap the intruders. Maria stood frozen as Daniel was caught. His betrayal laid bare in front of her and the man she served. The aftermath was painful. Daniel screamed at her, calling her a traitor, blaming her for his downfall. His eyes, once filled with love, now burned with hatred. Maria collapsed in tears, feeling as though she had lost everything. Yet Alexander, usually cold and distant, showed an unexpected humanity. He did not punish her for breaking his command of silence. Instead, he told her softly that her courage had saved his life and fortune. For the first time, she realized that, behind his stern mask, Alexander respected loyalty above all things. Maria's life changed dramatically. She divorced Daniel, though the emotional scars remained. Alexander offered her not just continued employment, but also protection. He made sure she received education and opportunities, valuing her honesty and bravery more than anything. Though their worlds were far apart, Billionaire and Maid, they shared a silent bond forged in that night of betrayal and rescue. Alexander never became her lover, but he became the unlikely guardian of her future. The story closes with Maria reflecting on the irony of the command, "Don't talk." For years, she believed silence was safety, yet in speaking up, she discovered her true strength. She saved a man who seemed untouchable, and in doing so, saved herself from a doomed marriage. The lesson she carried was simple but powerful: silence. In the face of evil is the greatest danger, and sometimes one brave voice can change the fate of many.